Hi there, hope you're having a good day. Welcome back to another video. Time to do some updates, some pretty important updates. Pretty expensive shoes these are. Kai 1 is technically the cheapest here, but that's just their retail price. Some colorways are going for quite a bit because they were popular and very hard to get. So the 4 shoes on today's menu are Wave Weight 11, Anta KAI, Jordan 39, another pricey pair, but luckily we're seeing some discounts now, and the wonderful New Balance Kawhi 4. In case you're new to the channel, this is an opportunity for me to provide some updates on shoes that I've already posted a video about, to let you know what has changed, what has not changed, and stay consistent. Also the durability factor, how the outsole and upper are holding up over time. If you enjoy basketball shoe content just like this, or if you like the idea of going back to shoes maybe even further in the past, let me know by dropping a like. Also consider subscribing please if you haven't. And most importantly, let me know which shoes you want to see on the next update. I'll try to do another batch very soon based on the comments. Okay, let's get started. I guess we'll go with the most expensive shoe first. Not just from Wave Weight themselves, but across all brands. $225 US, the Wave Weight 11. As their flagship model, performance did not disappoint. I was not expecting excellent durability, but this is surprisingly durable. This pair, I've worn them heavily outdoors. This past summer, I even wore them casually on a daily basis in China. Now, sweet home, but that's dirty ground back home. Aside from these spots that turn bright yellow, or let's just say yellowing, the outsole itself is holding up perfectly fine. I didn't lose any part of the grooves or notice any significant wear and tears on the bottom. So even though I normally don't wear shoes at this price outdoors, just so you know, the GCU also on the WOW 11 is really more durable than you and I would think. On this colorway that I have, the upper is prone to getting these like scratch marks, some scuffing, but it's not a weak upper that gets a lot of damage. Because I remember on their All City 11, a lot of people wrote in the comments saying that they basically had the upper tearing apart after some outdoor use. Here you definitely won't have that problem. I mean, there's no part of it that can practically tear apart. It's all covered up nicely. With that said, I still think breathability is the biggest downside on the shoe. Weight isn't too bad. This did not feel anywhere close to a heavy shoe or one that makes your feet feel really tired afterwards. It all comes down to your preference. If you like a shoe that has amazing ventilation, or if you like an affordable option, just forget about these. But otherwise, S-tier performer. Time-tested, long-lasting, consistent traction and bounciness. Yes, they did come up with a new version of the upper too, like on the orange colorway. I guess they just gave up on breathability. Might as well make it warm and cozy for the winter. We'll see. One of the bounciest shoes that I've had all year. That should not change whichever colorway you choose. So there you go. Next to update you on is the Kai 1. This is Kyrie's first signature shoe after signing with Anta. He does have another alternative version with the same retail price of 125 USD, the Kai 1 Speed. Now after having more playing time with the Kai 1 Speed, I mean the Kai 1 I've obviously had for a much longer time, I still go with the Kai 1. Cushion remains consistently responsive. The midsole feels softer than most other Anta shoes with the same setup for some reason. You get great impact protection to land safely, a nice heel compression, those never change. Traction is the most important part here because it seems like you really just need to give it an adjustment period to perform at its fullest potential. I'll explain what I mean by that. I remember at the very beginning, it was meh, felt average at best. It wasn't a strong grip. There were some times where I felt a little bit iffy about planting my feet on a hard pivot. It just wasn't the best stop I could get. Later on, with more usage, I felt like this aspect has slowly and quietly improved. I say quietly because the outsole still didn't squeak that much. It's just later on, like I realized after a long sesh, well, I didn't have to worry about slipping or not having great traction while I was playing earlier. So it's not like the Wave Weight New Balance hoop shoes where boom, it feels and sounds like top tier traction right from the start. Nope, the Kai 1 traction takes time to get better, and I'm sure it will get better because that's certainly been the case for me. Another important update is that they are durable enough for most court conditions. Indoors, clean or dusty. Outdoors, concrete, asphalt, you should be fine. And the upper too isn't too flimsy. The strap does its job too. So I really started to appreciate the Kai 1 more after a while. That's why I got it included in this update again. So as a heavy rotation shoe for anybody, these guys, I can see them holding things down for you. So you won't regret the purchase. Now, perhaps a shoe that I didn't talk enough about previously is the Jordan 39. $200 is the retail price. I've seen them at about 25% off, 30% off in a lot of places. So the goal, I say, is to aim for that sweet 50. Half price off, that's tasty. Your perspective would have changed completely if you were to get it for $100 instead of 200. Anyways, unlike the first two, this one I have not used it outdoors. Unfortunately, I'm the guy that got it for 200. 260 Canadian here. Fuck me. Yeah, I can't update you on the durability for outdoors, but for indoors, remember the sole separation problem on the Jordan 38? This time we're good to go. From gluing, material quality, upper construction, this shoe is very much like the Kai 1 in that the upper and midsole have both been very consistent. So when I think about the bounciest basketball shoes this year, this is probably the first or second one that comes to mind immediately. Very bouncy. It almost pushes you to go up. And most importantly, that level of bounciness is still there. A counter example here is the GT Cut 3. I mean, I've had those since January, but the bounciness and compression you get from the Zoom X midsole are just not there anymore. It hasn't bottomed out completely, but the difference was easy to notice from my experience. Here on the Jordan 39, no such issues yet. Not at all, actually. I guess only more time will tell, but what I've started noticing is that dust pickup affects the traction performance. Once dust accumulates over time, it's not a super hard stop every time down the floor anymore. There were some inconsistencies. Dust gets trapped in there. It's really hard to wipe off. Plus, lateral stability wasn't the best to begin with. Biggest problem, lack of an extensive outrigger. A lot of people were complaining about the lack of a shank plate. Indeed, because if they were to do something like the Wave Weight 11, where they sandwiched a carbon fiber plate in between boom, their best foam available, that would have helped the springiness to last. So you always get a loaded effect underneath. Here on the Jordan 39, still a lot of bounce. I've had this since late July. Traction trends downward once dust piles up. So you gotta just clean the outsole frequently, I guess, for the best experience. Yeah, that was my take. If you're still thinking about getting these, just wait for a nasty discount during the holidays or something. If I got it for $100, I would have just shut up about everything. This is a fantastic shoe to play in. Cushion lasts better compared to the GT Cut 3. Traction takes a hit and stability is still iffy. It's not like the New Balance Fresh Foam BB V2 where stability was iffy at first, but once you get used to it, everything was fine. Last but not least, speaking of New Balance, let's talk about the Kawhi 4 again. In any scenario, I think this is the best Kawhi shoe ever made. I know the joke might be getting old, but I gotta show you some Kawhi-like highlights first. Two important questions. Where is Kawhi? Where is the Kawhi 4? Availability for this shoe really sucks. They somehow didn't make a lot of colorways. $160. I saw the black one recently at another vintage collab. I just don't know where to buy them from. Yeah, just like the signature player, they've been ghosting us on the shelves, but not on the court. This was such a fun and comfortable ride. Compared to my initial assessment of the shoe, I would say traction stays extremely consistent. No problems on a dusty court. Fuel cell on their basketball shoes is one of the more underrated setups on the market, in my opinion. It doesn't wow you in terms of softness and bounciness, but the midsole is always going to be sufficient. That doesn't change. On the other hand, interior padding, I really wish it was better than this. That would have made it perfect or flawless if they give us something plush, like that on the Big 3 5.0 Quick Pro would do. I wasn't mad about it at first, but I found the Kawhi 4 to be best off paired with a thicker pair of performance crew socks, for example. That offsets the lack of padding inside. Also, the upper material might be different depending on the colorway, but over time, I just have to report that the toe box creases a lot. Not to a point where the wrinkles would bother me, but that's something to be aware of, especially if you do a lot of toe drags, let's say. that might affect your experience over the long term, to be honest. All right, so that about concludes it for things that I want to update on with these 4 shoes. If I absolutely have to pick out the best one here, Kawhi 4 still. While 11 surprised the hell out of me with its durability, all of them are amazing performers, by the way. Kai 1, nothing super impressive to begin with, but with more playing time, they will keep getting better. At least based on my experience, that is. Jordan 39, consistently bouncy, no more sole separation concerns. Material is nice and supportive, but dust pickup can be a little annoying in the long run. Kawhi 4, I guess other than some heavy creasing in the toe box, there's really nothing to worry about. Traction is elite. Cushion doesn't bottom out over time. New Balance hoop shoes, lateral containment and stability tend to be the only downside if I was nitpicking. But to me, they've been the #1 best brand this year with their performance models. That's factoring everything in. Their products are just so consistent. Anyways, feel free to share your experience with any of these, what you agree or disagree with me on. Drop your suggestions and requests for the next update in the comments, please. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next one.